Hi, folks. I just watched the series Masters of the Air. Very good, but also, yeah, it reminds you of how absolutely devastating and inhumane the Second World War was. But same as the first, really. But yeah, how the indiscriminate killing of people. Yeah. Well, the ability to see other humans as worthless. Yeah, taking their life doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, it's basically what Hitler did was stir up the German people to that degree that in the end they fought, rounding up the Jews. All that was okay. And then the people that worked in the camps, they thought it was okay to lead the Jewish people into gas chambers and kill them. They didn't see there being a problem with it at all. Yeah. One thing I would say is we have to keep in mind, always, that the winners write the story. So there would have been incredible atrocities carried out by Russia, America, Britain, and its allies. Some absolutely goddamn awful things would have been carried out by them also. But they don't mention those in the history because they won. They talk about the things that the enemy did because then they can help people to believe that the enemy was the devil. But the enemy was just mainly, well, not mainly, in the main, it's more accurate, was in the main just soldiers doing what they were told. Yeah. But even that, imagine that, right? Imagine you are in that situation, in that scenario of understanding around about 1943 that you are flying bombers from the UK to Germany to bomb factories. But then you start to understand to win this, we have to bomb central Berlin. We have to turn the soldiers and the people, public support, we have to turn all of that against Hitler. We can't win if we're just targeting factories because they're not. They're bombing London, central London. We are trying to be nice about it, and no, we've got to get to the point where the other side is saying we can't take any more of this. Imagine you're there at that time understanding that, and that you have to do that. That at that point in time would have been seen as a horrendous thing to do. To bomb civilians. Fathers, mothers, grandparents, children, babies in their homes. To do that. But that's the thing, in a war situation, when you've got an enemy who, for whatever reason, thinks it's okay to do that to you, then yeah. Well, as I said in a video recently about bullying, I'm very much of the point that, okay, if the other side thinks that if they do this, they can destroy you, okay, you have to be worse. Because if you want to stop it, and stop it quickly, they need to think that you would do worse. Well, at the end of that war, America did that to Japan, didn't they? They did exactly that. And everything stopped. Because people realised if we don't stop, they could do that to us. Boom. It worked. It was the atomic bomb being released on a city. All those people. It is bloody nasty. Of course it is. Absolutely nasty. Of course it is. Yeah. But this is the point, that's what I say. Atrocities were carried out by by all the people involved. I'm not saying every person carried out, but yeah. Whatever side you were fighting for, that side had committed atrocities. Or were going to. So, yeah. But the absolute loss of life. And that's why it does annoy me with all this stupidity. Yeah. Well, right now on the left, where believe all women, we don't need men. All that stuff. Yeah. That's bloody nasty. All that stuff. Really nasty. Yeah. Because in those wars, it was men who were killed. And so many of them were killed. And women now, the left-wing women, who say we don't need men and believe all women, they don't care that all those men at that time were killed. Fathers, sons, husbands, brothers. Of course, women that were still, well, most of them were still at home. Yeah, they were hurt by that. Of course. Because they lost the men. Yeah. Fathers, sons, brothers, etc. But who lost their lives? Is it harder to lose someone than it is to be killed? Because if you lose someone, you're still alive. You've got time to deal with it. Yes? But when you're killed, it's gone. The knife is gone. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm really thankful to God that nothing like that really has happened for, 80 pounds. 80 years. Yeah. For over 80 years. It could have happened again, but it didn't. So, yeah. But as I said, understand. When you're thinking about the church, understand at that time. Because obviously it was so important at that time. Because, most families either lost the father, the husband, or when the man come back from the war, they were completely different because of what they saw and what they did in the war. So obviously it was hurting the world for more times than people think. Well, as I said, basically in the 50s, it was, not too long that most young people leaving the church. Go to God about it. Ask Him to teach you about that and help you to understand what was happening at that time. The spiritual things that were happening at that time. Yeah. Learn. So there you go. I will leave you now. Enjoy. Have a good week. I'll speak to you later. Be a blessing. Bye bye.